Hello darlings, welcome back to my channel and welcome to our first video of 2022. I'm really excited to dive into this series. We are going to start our photography series for cosplay. This series is going to be a bit longer than others from me. We're going to go over finding a photographer, location shoots ranging from cons, actually on location at different places, all the way to studio and boudoir. We're going to try and cover a lot throughout this series, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I've paired up with a bunch of different cosplayers and photographers, bouncing questions and ideas off of them just to make sure this was packed with all the info you need for setting up your next photography shoot. So let's jump right in. So we're going to start out with finding a good photographer. This part can sometimes seem a little bit daunting. There are tons of cosplay photographers out there, so it's a little bit difficult to figure out who you want to work with, what you want to do. Every photographer comes with their own different style and way that they like to do their shoots, so it's very important that before you go into looking for a photographer, figure out what you want in your shoot. Whether that's something that's heavily edited or you want a shoot that has an aesthetic that is very much more of fantasy versus glamour shots. You want to know what you want out of this shoot. That way when you go to your photographer you can be like, hey, here's my idea, here's what I'd like to do. Is this something we can do together? Many photographers will be willing to jump in and try out new things, but if you want to go for somebody who already has that type of style in their portfolio, you're going to need to look. It's a little bit daunting, but it's a lot of fun. You get to talk to and you get to meet a ton of different photographers just to do all this. So the next step in going to your photo shoot prepared, you're going to want to know what poses you'd like to do. Yes, your photographer is also there to guide you and assist you in perfecting the pose so that way you know you're going to look good. None of that double chin action or everything is just in its place, nothing is backwards or tucked in wrong on your cosplay. They're there to support you. But that's the key word, support. You also need to have an idea on what poses you want to do in this shoot, even if it's just a basic like artist posing guide. Those things can come in handy quite a bit, and it gives your photographer something to work with so that you two both know what you're wanting to do. This also joins in on the other hand of know what you don't want to do. For instance, I refuse to ever flip off a camera. I don't think it's very appropriate. It's not very nice. I don't want that kind of photo of me out on the internet. So that's not something I'm willing to do. I just think it's rude. You need to be able to say no to poses that you don't want to do or angles that you don't want your photo taken from. This can be difficult. I fully understand that. I've had to tell photographers no, even people at the hallway in cons that like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to flip off the camera. I don't like doing that. I can do a different pose for you though. Usually it works, they'll understand, and then you can just keep going. Many photographers will have you pay a fee up front for their services. Usually it's not a lot. Some do require full payment before convention or shoot or whatever it is you're going into. This part can get a little bit nerve-wracking. Some people say if they require something up front, don't ever book with them. Others say if they don't require something up front, don't book with them. Honestly, this part can really go at your own discretion. I personally recommend that if you do have to pay up front for your photographer, make sure it is no more than 90 days before the con. That way, in case something does go wrong, or let's say they don't get you your photos back, you still have the option to dispute that transaction with your bank, PayPal, Venmo, whatever. No matter what, make sure if you're paying through PayPal when it comes to photo shoots that you're going under goods and services. If you do it under friends and family, you will never be able to get your money back if something does go wrong at your shoot or your photographer just completely ghosts you. So when going into a shoot, I often like to bring a friend, buddy, assistant whatever word you want to use for it. They can help you make sure that your wig is lying just right, nothing on your cosplay is out of order. They can even help if you're wanting to do more dynamic shots like cape throws or like the hair fluffs. There are options. Your friends are great when it comes to doing photo shoots. Try to do something for them in return if they come in and help you out, even if it's just like, hey, I bought you a snack, because we know we all forget to eat. If your photographer says you are not allowed to bring a buddy, huge red flag. Do not book with them. Stay away from that person. If they don't allow you to bring a friend to your shoot, that's just telling me they're giving off bad vibes and they are not going to be a good person to work with. Especially being that, you know, buddy system helps to keep us safe. If they're preventing that, just please don't. If a photographer is giving you some of these red flags or bad vibes, you can also reach out to them still and be like, hey, do you have any references of people you've worked with or other photographers you've worked with, or even events they might have been a photographer at? For instance, before I book with majority photographers, I will go through their Instagram. I will find models that they seem to work with quite often, and I will message them and be like, hey, I was thinking about working with so-and-so, and I've noticed you've worked with them a lot. What is your experience with them, and would you recommend them to other people? I also often will do this with people that have only, from the looks of it, shot with a photographer once. Sometimes the multiple shoots could be close friends, so they will have a biased opinion. So a one-timer can give you a little bit new insight and just help you figure out if this is a person you want to work with. Because let's face it, if something seems off, trust your gut. Do not book and just find somebody else. So let's say you've booked your photographer, you've gotten to wherever it is you're shooting, you've started the shoot, and then something doesn't feel right. They're wanting you to do something you're not comfortable with, or you're just starting to get this really bad vibe. You need to know how to exit the shoot gracefully. You do have a couple of options. If you've got a friend, you can always just go over to them and be like, hey, I need to fix something quick. Go to your friend, be like, I want to get out, can you fake an emergency, or something of the sort. Do what you need to do to get you out. Even if that means just saying, hey, I am not comfortable with what you are doing, I am going to leave. If they try to stop you or anything, do your best to get out. This can be very hard to do. It's one of the big reasons why I always recommend the buddy system, because then you have some extra support and backup. It's also very good just to let other people not going to the shoot know where you're going to be, so you have some extra help in case you need it. This is a worst case scenario thing, and I hope none of you guys end up having to do that, but it's still a good thing to know how to do. So to quickly recap everything we've gone through now, we have know what you want in a shoot and what you don't want, bring a buddy, research your photographers, know how to leave gracefully. A lot of these tips you can also find more on if you search around with other cosplayers. There are even photographers out there who have guides built into their Instagrams. And yeah, that has been our finding a photographer. I really hope some of these tips help you guys. I'm going to personally list some photographers that I think are wonderful to work with down in the comments and descriptions. I am a Midwest cosplayer, so they are going to be based in the Midwest. I'm not able to help you guys if you're outside of my area, sadly. I'm sorry. Hopefully you guys are able to find somebody. If you need help, reach out to your community. They will always be able to say like, hey, I recommend this person because of this. It is really good to have that upfront experience, and being able to talk to your community can help you make more friends. All right, I'll see you guys in our next part of the photographer series, which is going to be convention shoots. See you later.